The grand dining room at the Ritz-Carlton sparkled with crystal and candlelight as I sat at the small table closest to the kitchen doors, watching my family celebrate Mom's 70th birthday in the hotel's most exclusive private dining space. 50 relatives had gathered for what everyone considered the event of the year, marking 7 decades of Eleanor Williams's remarkable life. I wore a simple black dress, quietly observing while conversations about medical practices and investment portfolios filled the opulent room. "Sarah, you're sitting so far from the family," my Aunt Patricia called out from the head table, gesturing with her champagne flute toward where the successful relatives were seated. "Come join us at the main table where you belong." I remained in my assigned seat near the service entrance, cutting my dinner methodically. The table placement spoke volumes about my family's perception of my status within our hierarchy. "I'm fine here, Aunt Patricia. Good view of everything from this spot." My brother David, a successful neurosurgeon, adjusted his Armani tie while addressing the gathering. At 35, he commanded respect in every room he entered, his surgical innovations saving lives and earning international recognition. "Sarah's comfortable where she is. Budget seating fits you, doesn't it, sis?" The comment drew chuckles from my sister Jennifer, a prominent investment banker, and my cousin Michael, who'd recently made partner at his law firm. They'd all embraced the Williams family tradition of professional excellence, while I'd apparently chosen a different path entirely. "Some people prefer staying in the background," my Uncle Robert observed, sampling the premium wine that cost more per bottle than most people's weekly salary. "Nothing wrong with understanding your natural position in life." My cousin Lisa, a successful cardiologist, nodded approvingly from her seat at the main table. "At least she's working consistently instead of expecting family support. Better to contribute according to your abilities." I continued eating quietly, noting how the Ritz-Carlton service staff moved with practiced precision around the dining room. My phone buzzed with a text from my operations director. "London property acquisition approved. Board meeting moved to 9 p.m. Also, Singapore resort opening exceeded all revenue projections." "You know what Sarah's real problem is?" my stepmother Victoria announced to the head table with authority. "No vision for meaningful success. She's content being invisible, watching accomplished people instead of becoming one herself." My Aunt Margaret raised her wine glass in agreement. "Exactly right. Look around this hotel, Sarah. The Ritz-Carlton represents the pinnacle of luxury hospitality. Staying here costs more than most people make in a month." The Ritz-Carlton surrounded us with understated magnificence, its classic decor featuring hand-selected antiques, imported marble and artwork worth millions. Every detail reflected the kind of timeless elegance that required both substantial capital and refined taste to achieve properly. "The service here is exceptional," commented David's new girlfriend's father, surveying the flawless surroundings. "You can tell this property has serious corporate backing. Probably some international hotel chain or investment group. Individual ownership of hotels like this requires generational wealth." "Definitely institutional ownership," agreed Dr. Martinez, a successful psychiatrist who'd known our family for years. "This level of luxury demands hundreds of millions in development and operational capital." I continued my meal silently, ensuring I remained unobtrusive while my family celebrated. My phone buzzed again with updates from my hotel managers across 3 continents, but I kept the device silenced out of respect for Mom's special evening. "Sarah should observe how real achievement operates," my father William suggested, gesturing around the magnificent dining room. "Maybe she could learn something about professional leadership instead of working those event coordination jobs downtown." "Speaking of which," Jennifer addressed me directly while checking her Cartier watch, "how's the hotel work developing?" "Still managing events and coordinating guest services. Hospitality management and operations oversight," I replied simply, taking another bite of the perfectly prepared salmon. "Same thing essentially," she dismissed with investment banker precision. "Service work with elevated terminology. At least you're maintaining steady employment, which shows work ethic." The conversation flowed around me as I remained in my corner position, invisible to my family despite sitting just 20 feet away. They discussed stock options, medical breakthroughs, legal strategies, the familiar soundtrack of their success-focused discussions while I observed from my assigned place by the kitchen. "You know what Sarah truly needs?" Victoria announced with the confidence of someone who'd married into family wealth. A realistic assessment of what genuine achievement represents. She's living in denial about serving luxury versus creating it. Some people are natural hospitality workers, Robert nodded with certainty. Nothing wrong with accepting your role in the service economy. Hotels need dedicated employees at every level. My phone vibrated with an urgent message from my board of directors. Emergency session called for tonight. Tokyo acquisition needs immediate CEO approval. Also, Wall Street Journal deadline for expansion interview moved to this evening. I glanced at it briefly and returned my attention to the birthday celebration. The reality is, Margaret continued, Sarah could accomplish more if she properly applied her intelligence. She has Williams' family genetics. She simply lacks the ambition to leverage them for significant success. Significant success requires significant sacrifice, David added, swirling his aged wine thoughtfully. Medical school was grueling, but examine the results. Chief of neurosurgery, international recognition, access to venues like this. That's what happens when you refuse to accept mediocrity. William raised his crystal glass in a paternal toast. To Eleanor's 70th birthday, and to all of us who've worked diligently to earn our place at celebrations like this. May we never forget that true accomplishment comes to those who demand excellence from themselves. The family raised their glasses in unison, the crystals singing softly as they touched together. I observed from my corner table, noting how the chandelier light caught the premium wine, how the baccarat crystal reflected the warm glow of the dining room's sophisticated illumination. And Sarah, William added with fatherly concern, perhaps someday you'll understand what it means to aspire beyond your current limitations. The words hung in the hotel's refined atmosphere as I folded my napkin with careful precision. The skill came from years of luxury hospitality experience, though my family interpreted it as evidence of my modest aspirations. She probably thinks this is impressive, Victoria whispered audibly enough for me to hear. Being in a five-star hotel around successful people. But there's a difference between experiencing excellence and achieving it. The hotel's general manager, Robert Chin, approached our private dining room with visible urgency. His movements reflected years of managing ultra-high-net-worth guests. Understanding that discretion and immediate response were equally critical when serving elite clientele. "Excuse me," Robert addressed the room politely, scanning the gathering with professional concern. "I'm looking for Ms. Williams. There's an urgent matter requiring the owner's immediate attention." The dining room fell silent as my family processed his words. David's confident smirk began to fade as he realized the general manager was looking directly at me. "Ms. Williams," Robert continued, approaching my corner table with respectful urgency, "we need your signature on the acquisition documents. The Shanghai property purchase requires immediate authorization to close before Asian markets open." I stood up slowly from my budget seating position, smoothing my simple black dress. "What's the total amount requiring approval, Robert?" "The $2.8 billion acquisition, ma'am. Also, your board of directors has assembled for the emergency session regarding the European expansion strategy." The revelation hit my family like perfectly timed thunder, illuminating everything they believed about success, achievement, and their own daughter's position in the business world. David's surgical precision seemed to abandon him as his mouth opened and closed without producing sound. $2.8 billion? Jennifer whispered, her investment banking experience finally recognizing the magnitude of what she was witnessing. Williams International Hotels operates 47 luxury properties across 6 continents, Robert confirmed professionally, with aggressive expansion plans for emerging markets. Ms. Williams has revolutionized the ultra-luxury hospitality experience while maintaining the personal attention that distinguishes each destination. Victoria's confident dismissal transformed into dawning horror as she grasped that she'd been condescending to one of the most successful hoteliers in the world. "I should mention," I said calmly to Robert, "that tonight's celebration is my mother's 70th birthday. We're demonstrating our commitment to creating extraordinary family experiences." "Of course, Ms. Williams. Happy birthday to Mrs. Williams. Shall I arrange for the birthday cake presentation in the presidential suite?" Patricia's champagne glass trembled in her hand as she processed that her niece owned the very hotel where they were celebrating, had been listening to their dismissive comments while managing a multi-billion-dollar empire. "Ma'am," Robert continued, "Forbes wants a statement about the Shanghai acquisition. This makes you the youngest woman to control a luxury hotel portfolio of this magnitude globally." My phone buzzed with notifications from my CFO, my legal team, my regional managers across multiple time zones. The hotel empire I'd built while my family assumed I was just coordinating events required constant strategic oversight and executive decision-making. "If you'll excuse me," I said to my stunned family, "I have a $2.8 billion acquisition that requires immediate CO approval. Robert will ensure Mom's birthday celebration continues perfectly." As I walked toward the hotel's executive elevator, I heard William whisper urgently to Victoria, "How long has she been building this empire? How did we seat the hotel owner by the kitchen?" The answer naturally was 9 years. 9 years during which they'd been too busy explaining my limitations to recognize my achievements, too confident in their assumptions to question their understanding of who actually controlled the luxury they were enjoying. Mom's birthday celebration would continue in the magnificent dining room, but the family dynamic had fundamentally shifted. The same crystal would catch the same light, the same service would continue flawlessly, and the same luxury would surround them as before. The only thing that had changed was their understanding of who owned it all.